All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do an update on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. I'm doing this in the middle of the trading day, but I'm doing so because there's an awful lot of news. There's a bunch of big dates coming up, so I want to get all that information out to you today. Most of the Bitcoin miners are pretty steady. It looks like a green day in general. There are a few things in the red, but there's a couple of big outliers that are having big days, so I want to start with those. Iris Energy is up right now, and again, the day is not closed yet, but at the moment, we're up 17% on Iris Energy. It's on pretty average volume. I don't see any new news coming out, so you can drop in the comments if you know something specific going on or if Iris is just having a good day. Also, Riot Blockchain is up 8%. It was up even a little bit more than that earlier, so we'll see where all these finish on the day. When we look at the charts later, you'll see Bitcoin is up a little bit on the day today from yesterday. The market in general, the equities market, is down a little bit. All the indexes are a little bit in the red, so in general, it is a down day, but Bitcoin's a little bit up, and the Bitcoin miners in general are behaving well. You know, there's a few. Gree's down 2.7%, DMG Blockchain's down 3%, but most of these things are in a pretty tight range, and most of the Bitcoin miners here on the big board are green. Okay, with that said, let's get to the first very big thing. Tomorrow morning, before the market opens, we are going to get CPI data. So if you have any strong feelings or if you want to make a trade before CPI data, that has to happen today. Just about half of you watching still have not subscribed to the channel. So if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. So just to take a quick look, this is what CPI has been over the last year, and you're going to see we're in a 9-month streak of CPI decreasing, which is good. This is an inflation indicator, so inflation has been going down really for 9 consecutive months. This peaked out at 9.1% back in June of 2022. Last month, it was 5%. So I just want to take a look. If you look down here, you'll see there's a consensus. So the market right now believes this month is going to be another 5%. So if that happens, then we will lose our streak of 9 months in a row of inflation reducing. Now, staying the same, I guess, is not that bad, but this is going to be a real close thing. I suspect maybe this may actually come in under. The trading economic forecast is estimating 4.9%, so I do think there's a little bit more of a chance that this is going to come in under or at. I think if we're within 0.1 of that in either direction, not a big deal. If we do have a nice beat on this, then I think the market will rage. That's typically the reaction. And of course, if this number comes in hot, if this comes in at 5.3 or 5.4 or something like that, then I think you can expect a very red day. And you can also expect some other stuff regarding the Fed. So I'm going to take a look at that next, because this is one of the main data points that the Fed looks at when they're doing interest rates. They have several things they look at, so it's not just this one thing in a vacuum. So I just want to point out right now, the market futures are pricing in about a 17.7% chance that there's going to be one more 25 basis point rate hike. We're at 82% chance that they're not going to raise rates. This would be the first time, I think, in the last 10 meetings, the first time in about a year that they haven't raised rates if they do a zero this time. But there's still a 17% chance that this is going to be a 0.25. Now, if CPI comes in hot, if that's a bad number, if inflation goes up, that dramatically increases the probability that the Fed would do another rate hike, because essentially we're down to the point where it's either going to be 0 or 0.25%. So we know we're in the home stretch. There's going to be maybe 0 of these left or 1 rate hike left, maybe 2 on the outside. So, you know, all in all, I think the market's pretty convinced we're done with this. But if we get some surprise data that looks ugly, this could start to trend the market a little bit more into the uncertainty category, which obviously uncertainty is not good for the market. So I would expect that to push the market down. So again, this is all happening tomorrow before the equity markets open in the US. So just bear that in mind. That's going to be the first thing that hits us tomorrow morning. I do want to show you, if you take a look at this chart at the bottom, you're going to see 1 week ago, the futures had priced in a 0% chance of a rate hike. So we did get a bunch of information, and some of the banks were struggling with everything going on about a week ago. The market had gotten all the way down to a 0% chance. That was the first time that's happened really in over a year. We've come off of that now. You can see we're up around 17.7% chance just of a 25 basis point rate hike. But it is noteworthy that a week ago, the futures were 100% priced in that there would be no more rate hikes, not just in the next meeting, but no more for the rest of the year, really. Okay, some more very important dates. Cypher did announce today. CleanSpark is going to report tomorrow after the market closes. Iris Energy is also going to report tomorrow after the market closes. The December numbers are getting a little stale at this point, so it will be nice to see what everybody did in the first quarter of 2023 when, between the time the market closes on Wednesday and opens on Thursday, you're going to get 3 of these companies reporting: Cleanspark, Iris, and Marathon. Then, just a few hours later on Thursday, right after the market opens, HUT is going to report. And then lastly, on Monday, before the market opens, so really that means your last day to trade this would be this Friday, Bitfarms will be reporting their earnings Monday before the market opens. So we're going to get a lot of updated information. This should allow us to have a much clearer picture of what's going on in the Bitcoin mining sector. So looking forward to all these reports coming out. I know you guys are too, and I will do as much analysis as I can on these once they're issued. Just a couple more noteworthy things before I get to the Bitcoin chart itself. I just want to point out the debt ceiling is set to expire on June 1st, so that's coming up. It's still about 3 weeks away, but obviously pressure is going to mount as we get closer and closer to that. So I will talk more about this in the future. I think there's a very high probability this will all get resolved before the deadline, but you never know. Right now, they don't seem to be on the same page, and this is creating some uncertainty in the market, and it's one of the reasons today is red, and we've had several red days lately. So this is one of the pieces of uncertainty looming over the market. Just want to make everybody aware. Last thing I'm going to point out quickly, and then drop in the comments if you want me to do a deep dive on this, because this is unbelievably significant to the Bitcoin miners. The only question is this a fundamental change that's going to last long term, or is this just a phase we're going through? So what I'm talking about, if you look at the block rewards, so this is every single block mined. You're going to see Antpool mined as of this point. They had just mined the last block. They got a reward of 10.53 Bitcoin. Now remember, each block is worth 6.25 Bitcoin. So the additional amount is fees. They got over 4 Bitcoin in fees. We're 5 or 6 days into this. You're going to see a 10, an 11, an 8. There were at least 5 blocks where the fees were even more than the 6.25 reward that you get from solving the block. So this is significant because, at that point, you're talking about a 100% increase in the reward, including fees. If we go back just 1 month ago, you'll see this was April 9th. You'll see every single one of these blocks was somewhere around 6.4, 6.5 at the most, which means the total fees altogether on these were somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2 Bitcoin. But you can see if this fundamental change occurs, even if they split the difference and we're going to start getting 2 Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoin in fees instead of 0.2 or 0.1, that would be a drastic difference. So this would go a long way towards making the Bitcoin miners a lot healthier and a lot more profitable if this persists. So this is something I'm going to keep my eye on every day. It's been going on really since last week, and we're now into Tuesday of this week, and we're still having several blocks that are getting 3, 4, 5 Bitcoin additional fees in addition to the 6.25 reward. Okay, so taking a quick look at the Bitcoin chart, this is Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. So as always, there's an orange line where Bitcoin was when the equity markets in the US closed yesterday. So you can see Bitcoin was at around $27,356. We are now above that. We've been above that pretty much ever since the close yesterday. We did get down in the middle of trading today. We did get down and almost touch this line and retest yesterday's close, but we've been above it really all day. So while the market's been in the red most of the day, Bitcoin's been in the green most of the day. The equity trading day is not over yet. There's still about an hour and a half or 2 hours left, so we'll see where all of this ends. But at the moment, Bitcoin is up. If we measure it from this orange line, which was yesterday's close, you're going to see we're up about 1%. I want to just zoom out to the 4-hour time frame and just to show you there is some support here that we're running into. It's not just yesterday's close that, just so happens to look like a strong line of support. Somewhere in the low 27,000 has been support for quite some time. So if you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, you'll see we've basically been going sideways for the last day. Okay, so we'll take a quick look at the 1-day time frame, and I think this really drives the point home. You're going to see, here's the line at 27,000 that we were just looking at. So we touched this line. This came right down to 27,000. That was on April 24th. Prior to that, every single daily candle has closed above this line all the way back to March 18th. So we're coming up on 2 full months where this line at 27,000 has held on the daily candle standpoint. We won't really be able to say we're back into a rally until we can get back up to this 31,000. So in the meantime, we are drifting in the middle. I know these feel like big moves up and down, but you can see it's in a pretty tight range. You can see that it's been a lot of volatility up and down and up and down and up and down, but it is all within the range that we just talked about. So what feels very volatile is really, in my opinion, still a lot of sideways movement. I think we're still consolidating. I do think the next leg is up. Certainly, it would not be a shock to go back down and test this purple line at 25,200. But we really have not been there. We had one daily candle. The second we got above this line, we raced up to 27,000. That was on March 17th, so that was a couple of months ago now. We've been above it ever since, so we'll have to see what happens. I think CPI data tomorrow, if it is a surprise, that could be the one thing that could maybe lead us down to our line of support or potentially up to our line of resistance. Other than that, if CPI comes in as expected, then we'll probably keep bouncing around where we are for a little while until this thing makes a move one way or the other. So that brings you pretty much up to date on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. For those of you who are members, I will see you in the members only live stream today after the market closes. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.